Many parents worry about whether or not they are going to know if their baby is getting enough. And what I mean by that is getting enough breast milk. So, no, you can't measure breast milk, or you can't tell how much milk a baby is taking in directly from the breast. But there's no tool, but you absolutely can be guided by the way in which a baby is behaving, as to whether or not they are getting sufficient amounts of breast milk. So, in the first few days of life, a baby's poo, yes, we're going to be talking about poo, is really thick and sticky and tar-like, and this is the very first poo is called meconium, and this changes color and consistency over a number of days, and by the time a mother's mature milk um, started to be produced, which is anywhere between day 3 and day 5 after a baby's been born, the baby's poo color will have changed from that thick black sticky tar-like consistency to dark brown, and get lighter and lighter and lighter until it's a yellow mustardy color, often with little seeds. It looks like it has seeds in it, so a bit like Dijon mustard. And so you can expect with each day of life, up until that point where the mother's milk changes from colostrum to the mature milk, that there will be one poo per day of age. So on day 1 they'll do 1 poo, on day 2 they'll do 2 poos, on day 3 they'll do 3 poos, and depending on when the mother's mature milk comes in between day 3 and day 5, then you will start to see that a baby will generally do a poo with every feed. And we're not talking big, massive, explosive poos, just tiny amounts. A baby's stomach can only hold a 5 ml of breast milk, at birth. The stomach size changes rapidly over the first 15 days, but the breast milk is very easily digested, and the baby doesn't need to take in large volumes. So the poos are not big, for want of a better explanation. The other thing that's really useful, so basically what goes in must come out. Okay, so whatever's in their nappy, that's a useful indication that they are getting an adequate amount. The other thing that's really, really useful is that newborn babies need to feed regularly, and so their survival instinct will ensure that they wake up at least every 2 to 3 hours, generally speaking. They might go for a longer stretch of up to 4 or 5 hours once in a 24-hour cycle, but that's really, really unusual for a newborn baby, especially for a breastfed newborn baby, just because the breast milk is so easily digested. So if you can think about, a baby does all their growing and developing whilst they're sleeping, and when they feel that they are running low on fuel, and that they need to kind of refuel to support that growth and development, they will start to wake up. So they're not waking up because, oh, that was a good sleep and now they want to kind of hang out with you. They're waking up to feed. Okay, so they'll start to wake up. They might do some stretching and stirring, and so that is a really early cue for you that your baby is starting to think about food. They might start to turn their heads and look around. They might have opened their eyes. They might be doing kind of lip smacking noises. I don't know if you can hear it on the video. Or they might be sticking their tongue out. And So those are all mid cues to say, hey, I'm thinking about food. Aren't I so cute? Please pick me up and give me some milk. And then if we still have not noticed that they are awake or looking around or thinking about food, maybe you're sleeping, that's okay. Then they will let you know by making a big noise that they are hungry and that they need food. So those are your early, mid, and late kind of cues that your baby will show or to let or communicate with you to say, hey, I'm hungry, please feed me. And being aware that they will be waking up regularly to feed to support their growth and development. So when they wake up, they're alert. So it's called quiet alert. So we talked about the mid cue. So they're looking around quietly, but they're definitely alert. And then they will feed, and then they will go back to sleep. So having a newborn is a full-time job. Well, having a kid is a full-time job, whether they're newborn or a teenager. And then having making sure that they'll go back to sleep, and then they will continue with their growing and developing, and then they will realize that they need to refuel, so they'll start to wake up again, give you the cues, feed, and go back to sleep. So a baby who wakes regularly, generally every 2 to 3 hours, you might get a longer stretch once every 24 hours, being alert when they are awake, giving you wet and dirty nappies, and weight gain, which will be monitored by the health care professionals, are all really useful indicators that your baby is getting enough. So hopefully that helps you to kind of just have an awareness of making sure if your baby is not waking independently, or your baby is very sleepy when they are woken up, if you're having to wake them up or they're waking independently, and are all indicate, and what is going on with their nappies are all indicators of perhaps what you need to be looking out for or addressing, or if you need to be getting a hold of somebody for additional support, or sometimes it can also be really reassuring to know that that kind of behavior, the waking regularly, is really normal and something that we want to see in a newborn's behavior. So I hope you found that useful, and in the next video we will talk more about how a baby feeds.